The forest of Jetavana was serene, filled with gentle rustlings of leaves and the soft chirping of unseen birds. A young mother approached the Buddha, her face shadowed with worry, and her child crying incessantly. The disciples watched as she knelt before the Buddha, her tears falling to the earth. "Buddha, my child cries endlessly," she said. "I do not know how to console him or understand his needs." The Buddha gazed at her with compassionate eyes and gestured for her to rise. "Come, sit here with me," he said. The mother sat, still clutching her infant, her heart heavy with concern. The Buddha spoke gently, his voice as calm as the flowing stream nearby. "Parenting is a profound journey," he began. "Yet he remains there, walking in circles without truly seeking escape. Why does the man remain stuck in this loop?" Buddha asked, his gaze sweeping across his disciples. A young woman named Ananda spoke hesitantly. "Perhaps he fears the unknown that lies beyond the familiar path?" Buddha nodded gently. "Yes, fear plays a role, but it is craving that keeps him tied to the familiar. Craving leads us to seek comfort within our confusion," Buddha explained. "It distracts us from the pursuit of liberation." The disciples listened intently, their minds absorbing his words like dry earth receiving rain. "A parent must listen deeply," the Buddha explained, "not only with their ears but with their heart and understanding. These echoes distort our perception and fuel repetitive cycles. A kind word can touch the heart." Buddha explained, "She does not grow angry at their cries. Instead, she acts with care to meet their needs." The young mother wiped her tears, her heart beginning to absorb the Buddha's teachings. The Buddha continued, "Compassion is the foundation of parenting. Without compassion, a parent's heart cannot fully connect with their child's essence." He paused, letting the words sink into the minds of the mother and the disciples. "When your child cries," he added, "see it as a chance to understand them deeply." One of the disciples asked, "Buddha, what if a parent feels overwhelmed and loses patience?" The Buddha turned to him, his eyes filled with kindness. "Even the most serene lake can ripple," he said, "but it returns to calmness when the wind ceases." The disciples nodded, reflecting on his profound metaphor. The Buddha turned to the mother again, saying, "When you feel overwhelmed, pause and breathe." Buddha extended his hand and pointed toward the horizon. "Do you see the setting sun?" Buddha asked. "Patience and compassion are intertwined," the Buddha continued. The Buddha then recounted the story of Kisagatami, who had lost her child and sought a cure for death. She learned through her journey that suffering is universal, and compassion connects us all, he shared. Her pain transformed her, teaching her the value of empathy and understanding, he added solemnly. The mother listened intently, her grip on her child softening as her own heart grew lighter. The Buddha said, "Compassion is not only for the child but also for yourself as a parent." He paused again, letting his words resonate in the hearts of his listeners. Parenting is not devoid of challenges. This awareness is the first step to liberation. Observe the nature of craving. "My children," Buddha urged. The mother nodded, her mind racing with understanding and gratitude. The Buddha then placed his hands together, his voice imbued with warmth and resolve. "Compassion is like a lamp," he said. "It lights up the darkest moments, showing the path to kindness and connection." He instructed the mother to practice mindfulness, to observe her emotions without judgment or fear. Parenting teaches patience like no other practice, the Buddha continued. Some saw shadows of fear, others recognized burdens of resentment. Right speech, Buddha said. The disciples watched, awestruck by the living example before them. The Buddha instructed, practice mindful compassion each day, even in the smallest actions, for they hold profound impact over time. He turned to the disciples, urging them to reflect on the importance of compassion not only in parenting but in all relationships. The lesson extended far beyond its immediate context. The mother bowed deeply, expressing her gratitude with a voice no longer trembling. "Your words have opened my heart," she said. The Buddha placed a hand on her shoulder, his touch reassuring. "Parenting is a path to awakening," he said, leading to deep realizations about love, patience, and interconnectedness. The disciples began murmuring among themselves, pondering how the principles of compassion applied to their own spiritual journeys. The Buddha concluded, "Each moment with your child is an opportunity to cultivate kindness and understanding." He added, "Remember, the seeds of compassion you plant today will grow strong over time." As the mother left Jetavana, her steps lighter than when she had arrived, the forest seemed to hum with newfound harmony. The Buddha turned to his disciples and said, "Compassion is the bridge connecting hearts. Without it, understanding falters, and love wanes." The disciples committed to this teaching, absorbing its profound depth. The Buddha spoke one final time that evening. "Remember, compassion is not an obligation but a natural expression of the awakened heart." He closed his eyes, entering a meditative state, while the disciples reflected on his words, their minds stilled by the resonance of truth. The teachings would ripple outward, touching countless lives. Another day, the Buddha walked with his disciples to a nearby village, where his presence drew a gathering of curious villagers. Among them was a father, speaking harshly to his son, whose downcast eyes reflected his inner fear. The scene disturbed the Buddha, who paused and turned to his disciples. The Buddha spoke, his voice calm yet firm. "Observe this moment, for it offers a profound lesson about guidance and love." The disciples gathered closer, eager to learn. As the Buddha approached the father, his demeanor radiating compassion and understanding. "Why do you speak so harshly to your son?" he inquired. "Exactly, Sundara," Buddha affirmed, his voice a gentle wave washing over the group. "Ignorance births assumptions that trap us in suffering." The father listened, his expression softening as the Buddha continued. "Discipline without kindness is like a tree deprived of water, destined to wither." The Buddha gestured to a nearby tree, its branches reaching toward the sky, vibrant with life. "Kindness and wisdom are the sun and water for growth." The son, standing silently beside his father, glanced at the Buddha with curiosity and a flicker of hope in his eyes. The Buddha turned to him and said, "Each child is unique, with their own nature and needs, like seeds of different plants." The disciples pondered this analogy, deeply moved. "Do you see the leaf drifting on the water?" Buddha asked, pointing to a lone leaf swirling in the current. The disciples nodded, their eyes fixed on the leaf, mesmerized by its rhythmic dance. "Ignorance is the current that carries us aimlessly. Like this leaf," Buddha explained, his words deliberate. He bent down, scooping up a pebble from the riverbed, its surface smooth and cool. He thought this would hasten their growth, the Buddha explained, but his actions damaged the roots, stunting the plants instead of helping them flourish, the Buddha added, his tone filled with gentle admonishment. The disciples leaned in closer, their focus unwavering. Buddha let the pebble fall back into the water, the ripple distorting the reflection of the trees above. He gestured toward the disciples and said, "Consider the training of a young monk, where encouragement and understanding lead to spiritual growth and harmony." The disciples nodded, in agreement. A disciple asked, "Buddha, how does one find this balance when anger or frustration takes over?" The Buddha replied, "Anger clouds judgment, like a storm obscuring the sun. Wait for calmness, and let wisdom guide your actions." He added, "Kindness is the antidote to anger, dissolving its grip on the heart." The Buddha turned again to the father, saying, "Your intention to guide your son is noble, but let kindness temper your methods." He gestured to the surrounding forest, its towering trees swaying in the gentle breeze. "See these trees," Buddha said, his voice imbued with reverence for the natural world. "Listen before you speak." The Buddha gestured toward the sun and continued, "Ask yourself, does this action build trust? Or does it create fear? Trust leads to growth, while fear hinders it." The disciples nodded, their hearts stirred. Ignorance tempts us to resist, to cling to what we desire or fear to lose. Buddha continued, pausing briefly, "Let understanding replace it, and love will guide you." The boy nodded, his eyes brightening. The Buddha stood, addressing both father and son. Parenting is an opportunity to cultivate a bond that fosters confidence, respect, and compassion. The villagers, disciples, and the father listened intently, their hearts absorbing the wisdom like rain nurturing parched soil. It allows us to see thoughts for what they are, fleeting and insubstantial. Sundara closed his eyes, reflecting deeply. "The sheep trusted him," the Buddha said, "because he led with patience and understanding, earning their trust through his actions." The villagers nodded, reflecting on the parallels to parenting. The Buddha emphasized, when parents lead with trust and kindness, children learn to trust themselves and grow into compassionate, confident individuals. A disciple remarked, "This wisdom applies beyond parenting, to all relationships where guidance is needed." The Buddha nodded, pleased by his disciples' insight. The lesson was universal. The father, with newfound clarity, turned to his son and said, "I will strive to guide you with understanding and love." The son looked at his father, his fear replaced by a budding hope, and said, "I will try my best to learn and grow." The villagers witnessed the transformation. The Buddha concluded, parenting is a delicate balance, requiring wisdom to discern what is needed and kindness to deliver it effectively. He added, "Discipline without love is hollow. Love without guidance is aimless." Together, they create the harmony essential for growth. The villagers departed, their hearts enriched by the teaching. The Buddha, now walking back toward the forest, turned to his disciples and said, "Let this lesson stay with you. When we cling to self, we perpetuate suffering." Buddha elaborated, his voice a steady flame. "But seeing the self as an illusion liberates us from its chains." The sun began to set, casting golden hues over the forest. As the group returned to Jetavana in silence, the air was filled with the serenity of understanding, as the day's lesson lingered in the hearts of those who had heard it. Through mindfulness, Sundara, and by recognizing our interconnectedness with all things, he said, the forest alive with his wisdom, Buddha stood once more, motioning for his disciples to follow as he walked along the riverbank. "Look at this river," he said, his voice imbued with a poetic cadence. "Each drop flows together, indistinguishable from the whole. Such is the nature of existence." The disciples nodded, their steps synchronized with Buddha's as they walked deeper into the lesson. "Your fear is natural," he began gently. "Parenting involves teaching, guiding, and ultimately letting go," the Buddha said. "Holding on tightly binds both the parent and the child." The mother lowered her gaze, tears slipping from her eyes, while the son sat beside her, his expression a mix of eagerness and reluctance. The Buddha continued speaking, "Just as a bird nurtures its chicks, it must also allow them to fly when they are ready," he explained. The disciples listened intently, their eyes fixed on the Buddha, absorbing his words that carried both warmth and wisdom. "Letting go is an act of trust and love," he added. "Ignorance, like a shadow, disappears in the presence of light," he said, his words echoing through the clearing. "Be the light through awareness and understanding." Even the vast ocean could not shake his confidence. The mother nodded, seeking solace in the tale. The Buddha turned to her and said, "Parenting is like sending a ship to sea, equipped with lessons and resilience." He added, "Trust in the teachings you have imparted to your child. They carry the essence of your love and wisdom. The mother wiped her tears, considering the Buddha's words deeply. The disciples watched the mother intently, sensing her internal struggle between fear and acceptance. The Buddha said, "Fear arises from attachment, but trust dispels fear, allowing love to flow freely." He gestured to the sun and said, "A child cannot flourish under the shadow of constant worry and restraint." The sun spoke hesitantly. "Mother, I wish to explore, learn, and grow, yet I do not want to cause you sorrow." The disciples leaned closer, their hearts open to his teachings. "Habits are like rivers," Buddha continued, his tone rich with metaphor. The Buddha addressed the gathering, saying, "Letting go does not mean abandoning. It means trusting in the foundation you have built together." A disciple asked, "Buddha, how does one overcome the pain of separation?" The Buddha replied, "Pain softens with acceptance, just as a wound heals under the balm of time." He continued, "Recognize that each being has their own journey, intertwined yet distinct, like rivers flowing to the sea." The disciples pondered his words, reflecting on the impermanence and interconnectedness of life. The Buddha added, "Attachment binds, but trust liberates. Trust allows love to transcend physical proximity." The mother looked at her son, her eyes filled with both sadness and understanding, and said, "I will strive to trust in you." The Buddha smiled gently and said, "This trust will deepen your bond, making love an ever-present force, despite distance." The disciples nodded, marveling at the simplicity and depth. The Buddha began recounting another story of a wise potter who released his finest creation to the marketplace. The potter trusted his work, knowing its strength and beauty. The Buddha explained, "He did not cling to it, for he knew its journey had only begun." The villagers listened, appreciating the allegory. "Trust does not mean there will be no challenges," the Buddha said. "It means believing in the resilience nurtured through love." The mother smiled faintly, her heart absorbing the wisdom and beginning to find peace in the act of letting go. The son sat quietly, touched by the unfolding harmony. The Buddha continued, "Allowing your child to walk their path reflects your faith in the strength of your teachings and love." He added, "This faith will carry them through both joy and adversity, knowing they are never truly alone." The disciples reflected, realizing the universal lesson in the Buddha's words. The Buddha turned again to the mother and son, saying, "Your bond is unbroken by distance, for love knows no boundaries or limitations." The son replied, "I will carry your teachings within me and honor them in every step I take." The mother clasped his hand, her grip now gentler. The Buddha concluded, "Parenting is a journey of nurturing, guiding, and trusting, each phase teaching profound lessons about love and impermanence." He added, "Letting go is a gift, granting freedom to both parent and child while strengthening the foundation of their bond." The villagers dispersed, their hearts full of insight. "Blessed One," Sundara began, his voice tinged with a mix of curiosity and concern. "If habits are so ingrained, can they ever truly be broken?" Buddha's eyes met Sundara's, radiating compassion and wisdom. "Habits, Sundara, are not chains. They are pathways, and pathways can be redirected." He added, "The strength of love lies not in possession, but in trust, allowing love to flourish in freedom." The disciples bowed, grateful for his wisdom. Without awareness, we walk these paths blindly, unaware of the patterns guiding our steps. Sundara nodded, his face reflecting newfound understanding. "Awareness is the light that illuminates the dark corners of the mind," Buddha continued, his tone unwavering. "With awareness, we see the habit for what it is, a series of choices repeated over time." Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.